All right, welcome back. This is October, but come next month, participants will converge in Abuja for this year's Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFUND National Research Fair and Exhibition.
Well, the exhibition, which is an annual event, is aimed at promoting research and innovation in Nigeria's tertiary institutions. And so, joining us in the studio to speak more on the upcoming event is Dr. Umar Binder, Chairman, TETFUND National Research Fair and Exhibition Committee. Welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning, Nigerians.
So tell us, what's it about, the research fair and exhibition? What exactly is it about?
Thank you very much. This is not new to Nigerians. Ministry of Science and Technology do have exhibition expo every year, 1 week.
NTA used to have one too.
NTA used to have the JETS program. Raw material used to have an expo. NOTAB used to have an expo. Universities will have exhibitions at every convocation. And we have nearly 300 of them in this country. The challenge is, despite all these expos, showcasing creativity and output of our intelligentsia, still our people, are suffering the highest level of poverty. Many Nigerians cannot drink clean water, so they are susceptible to waterborne diseases. Their houses are not good. Their food is not adequate and not good. Their health care, women can't go to hospitals, deliver safely and go home. So all these socio-economic issues are there, but on this side we are showcasing to the world that we have brains, we have work, we are doing research. So what TETFUND is doing is not to repeat these things. TETFUND said enough is enough. And TETFUND, established between 10 to 15 years ago, has been supporting tertiary institutions, the universities, the polytechnics, the colleges of education, research institutions, or public system. And they have seen the output. The rate at which Nigerians are becoming professor in this world of young people at the age of 40 to 50 is very, very high, probably the highest in Africa. We have so many PhDs. PhD now is now so common, showcasing that we have a pool of thinking people. And professor is not a chieftaincy title. You have to do research. You have to publish. You have to get patents and so on and so forth before you become professor. PhD too is not just a chieftaincy title. You must study. You must publish and so on. So TETFUND said, look, we've been supporting research and development. And we've seen this increase in output of capacity and capability. But our people are poor. Look, we need to do something new. And the new thing is that this committee was set up courtesy of the executive secretary currently, that we don't want you to go and showcase that you are smart, you are intelligent, and people will clap for you, and you get first position or second position, you take 10,000 naira or whatever. Bring outputs that are practical, outputs that are applicable, outputs that are manufacturable, outputs that are scalable, outputs that are practice-oriented, so that Nigerians will come, the young people will come and see hope in what is out there. The funders, the banks, the development banks, the Bank of Industry, the Bank of Agriculture will come and say, hey, this is what we've been looking for to support so that Nigeria can also become a manufacturing country. Then we have the businesses, the MAN, the NASI, the NASIMA, and all the other categories of businesses will come say, this is how I can expand my business now, or we can expand our membership by expanding so. And then we bring the intellectual property people who will now try to ensure that this thing that is your output is your property. Therefore, anybody who is benefiting from that, you should also benefit. We mix all these with the hope to answer the clarion call of even Mr. President. He said the renewed hope. Hope is about employment. Hope is about wealth creation. Hope is about revamping the economy from the bottom. So this is what the fair is all about. On the 17th of November, we're going to start for 4 days at Eagle Square. This is only the maiden one, right? Where it is, we are not going to showcase smart things. So our methodology is first. I think we have been inaugurated around June, July. We have met more than 20 times through Zoom to demonstrate applicable technology. Second, we have written letters to every university, every polytechnic, every college of education, public or private. We've launched it on our website to ensure that everybody sees the forms. We are even including not just this formal sector, the pantakers, the young people that you see who are very creative can also apply. We now have over 2,000 submissions. And these submissions will be screened based on these indices, practical, scalable, applicable, and then we're going to now come to Eagle Square and showcase it to Nigerians. Enough is enough of this knowledge without development.
Fantastic. Very interesting listening to you. And of course, we must say kudos to TETFUND for coming up with this fair. It's a step in the right direction from what you have said. But you know, I don't think that this fair will be able to capture all that needs to be done in this country for us to move forward. In your own view, away from TETFUND now, what policy reforms do you think we need to support research and development in the country?
I think, you see, these type of things are difficult to do because you are now trying to take knowledge, science, engineering, innovation to the socio-economic side. Very difficult. So the commencement of this fair of this type is the beginning of the process of developing an institution. So possibly if we really, really bend down on it, in the next 5 years, Nigeria also will have its own Guangzhou. South Africans will come here to look for technology. Ghanaians will come here to look for technology. So the kind of policy things that we expect, simplistically, is we also want our leaders, all of them, first of all, to come. And when you see and you are convinced, your role in policy making and policy implementation will possibly improve if you love Nigeria. Second, we should do creative policies such that the what do you call the National Assembly and the politicians' constituency projects. Say that the policy is constituency projects should be made in Nigeria. We don't want to see sewing machines coming from China. We don't want to see wheelbarrows coming from India. We don't want to see, hair drying systems coming from China. Why can't we get these young people, boys and girls, engaged in technologies of Nigeria so that when you showcase all this sea of innovations to your people, it is made in Nigeria? That is where the jobs are. That is where the creativity is. And that is where the ranking of Nigeria. Third, we want policies such that in addition to TETFUND, there was a time when, even back to Obasanjo's time, through Yaradua, down through Goodluck Jonathan, there was a National Research and Technology Fund established with a minimum of 1% of the Nigerian GDP, with the chair of that council to be the president himself. It is only the president that can chair that kind of thing, that can tell Agric, all the fertilizers, all the tractors, all the seeds should come from Nigeria. He will point at health. All the scanners, all the medicine should come from Nigeria. He will point at all the ministries and say, look, this is my renewed hope. Oh. Me, I don't want you to come and carry money and start contracting and doing us. And it's very embarrassing, particularly to me, that every time we do a mega project, road project, building project, when we go to commissioning, you'll see some foreigners at the back of either the president or the governor or whatever. That is where the technology is. We should, when you go to Philippines, you see it's only Filipinos. When you go to Malaysia, you see everything is Malaysians. You go to Vietnam, it's all Vietnamese. You come to Nigeria, you see Nigerians in front and then Vietnamese at the back. Nigerians in front, Chinese at the back. So if we try to engender the correct policies and implement them to the letter, I can assure you, it is not just going to China to go and get
Talking
friends.
about that fund you talked about, the National Research and Technology Fund, do you think that it has in any way, improved research in the country?
Because you see, research costs money. And there has to be money, but it has to be regulated. There has to be a methodology. Where TETFUND is heading to is that it will come to a point where it will say that, yes, apply for research funding, 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. But let us see the research plan. It must be, even if it is slicing okra, to dry quickly so that you can package it when it is green, so that it is easy to pound and it can draw even it's dry. That is Nigerian. Don't go and study on the speed at which clouds move and then expect to get funds from us. We will not give you. Don't write a proposal to see how high grasshoppers will hop in vegetations of rainforest. We will not get money. So do practical things that can actually ginger Nigeria to actually go to the highest level. So the research fund TETFUND has started as an institution. They started this over 10 years ago. But because it's small, you find that the level of the funding, the number of people who are benefiting is very narrow. But you look at our universities, you will see the brain, they are boiling. You know, just now, as our committee, we've been screening the concept notes to go to the proposals of this year's research funding. Come and see thousands and thousands and thousands of research proposals. And you can only support maybe 100 or 200. So you have to weed all this. Nigeria has to say that, no, we need more researchers of valuable things so that the output will come to fairs like this and power our country.
What about
But
the
all
fact...
all of this will require significant funding.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to improve, expand what TETFUND does, then it's going to get more funding. That's what it should be. Or are there opportunities for collaboration with the private sector to ensure that the funds that are needed come in, and then you can support more and more?
You see, there is no industry that does not develop without research and development. Companies that are producing food for us in this country, they have their research and development facilities in their countries. Countries that are producing drinks in this country, they have their research and development in their country. And go and see the budget for this research. In China, if you want to come and invest in China to manufacture glass, they will say, good, you have technology, you have money, and so on and so forth. But if we have a methodology of making glass, you must use our own. Don't go and continue bringing your own, making your own to get better, and then taking money to pay for your own technology, to develop your universities and equipment and so on, while we are just consuming it. So policies of that nature, and we have NOTAP. NOTAP is the institution that is supposed to regulate this. So when you come to Nigeria, you have to open the gate for what we call as technology transfer. You also have to ensure that you absorb our own research and development if it is crispy to your level. Our effort is to try to raise the bar to the highest level where industry can also participate. So imagine if we say that every private sector company operating in Nigeria must participate in funding the research and development in their own area, right? So maybe not corporate social responsibility, I call it corporate social investment. So put some money in Nigerian the institutions and then gradually ensure that things are coming out. This is going to expand the research fund beyond what you can think of. So it's not just government budgeting, 1% of GDP. It is all these collections of bits and pieces, very well coordinated, transparently managed, and I can tell you, you see wonders in this country.
Talking about seeing wonders, what can we do, as a nation to ensure that some of these researchers actually stay and, develop, their research or whatever it is that, they are into in this country? Because we've seen that even certain people that have been sponsored by TETFUND are out of the country at the moment. So how can we stop this brain drain, a situation whereby the country invests in people, their researchers, and then they're out of the country the next minute?
You see, one thing good about Nigerians is that we are very simplistic and loyal and patriotic people. I can assure you, if a university professor has a house, a 3-bedroom, he's not asking of a skycar. He has a car that is good. His children can go to school. His wife can go to hospital too. He will not move an inch out of Nigeria. But when your immediate and basic needs are very tight, you will say, the ground never level, or is it water never, whatever. So you will escape, and that is what the JAPA is all about. Now, imagine a professor of mechanical engineering, or chemical engineering, or agricultural engineering. He has 10 patents because his brain is working. And these patents are licensed by industry through this fund. And he's getting royalty. Royalty is a continuity. Every month he's getting 10 million or 5 million. That man will not move an inch, even out of the gate of that university, not to talk of looking for an airport to escape. So it is an ecosystem. Make the system comfortable. Motivate these researchers. Ensure that they are also not asking for heaven on earth, but realistically they are looked after. They will work. Nigerians are very smart. And that work, have policies to ensure that the works are recognized so that it is absorbed by the community. And then you will have a creation of wealth, circulation of wealth, and I can tell you, gradually, you will find that even the ones that are already outside will start running back.
All right. Dr. Bindri, we thank you very much for your time. We understand you have a flight to catch, and it's been a pleasure having you. However short the time, it's always a pleasure having you talk to us. Dr. Umar Bindri is Chairman TETFUND National Research Fair and Exhibition Committee. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure.
And so